We're taught to be compassionate and caring and sensitive, but also taught to be masculine and alpha. And
often that led me down a dark path. It led me down the path that I cheated on my partner.
I was more than willing to call it a day, to a point where I wrote a letter, and the only reason I didn't is because I fell asleep.
Hi guys, Badalia here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am in the gym asking men who love to exercise some of the hardest questions about their mental health. Let's go. Suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 50. So my first question to you is, what do you understand by what a man is?
Oh, that's a hard question, that is. You never really think of that, do you?
No. I think that's such a hard question, like it's such an open question, because it means something different to everyone.
Responsibility, masculinity, strength, taking control of situations, being the one that people look up to.
The stigma of being a man is that you can't show your emotions.
Yeah.
You provide.
Yeah.
You go out to work. Showing your emotions is more of a no-no. You know, you kind of, you know, it's being seen as being weak if you show your emotions as a man.
He's the alpha. He's the breadwinner. You know, he's the one that needs to provide for the family. You know, he's just there. He's always there when you need him. He's that one person that, when everything else fails, he's that one person that you need to count on.
Does that definition put too much pressure on men though?
Because for me, being a man is testosterone. I'm not all about that whole like grr sort of look.
Yeah.
It's just for me about it's just who I am.
Do you ever feel the pressure from society to uphold what is seen to be as a man?
Yeah, absolutely. We're taught to be compassionate and caring and sensitive, but also taught to be masculine and alpha, and going back to that grr mentality. It's so hard to sort of, what is the right definition? It's kind of like, what is there a definition?
Someone who looks after his family, you know, he's the breadwinner, the head of the house, the one who probably takes all the stress.
Is that too much responsibility for men?
I think it can be. I think men, being the macho men, want to try and take on more than they normally can handle, you know, not really thinking about how it's going to affect them.
I'm one of 12.
One of
12 siblings.
Okay.
My brother, my father managed that house. He managed that house really well.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's always something that, like, I've got one child.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's days where the pressure does get to me.
Yeah.
Then I think about, whoa, you know.
But you must have a few brothers then.
Yeah.
So amongst your brothers, what's the sort of relationship as being men?
There's always that one that you talk to. In my case, my younger brother.
Yeah.
We talk about absolutely everything. Any ongoing issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff that I don't feel brave enough, to speak to my wife about. I know I can confide in him, and do you know what I mean?
If you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons below. Drop me a comment as well and let me know what you'd like to see more of on my channel. What mental health experiences have you ever had?
So recently, I've gone through some relationship issues. I went to seek advice, seek mental and professional advice, and I managed to speak to a few people.
Yeah.
And what was bizarre was my issues that were affecting me present actually wasn't from the present. From a young age, I was moved around a lot.
Okay, yeah.
So I was moving a lot.
Yeah.
And during relationships, I thought I was looking for something. Yeah. And often that led me down a dark path. It led me down the path that, you know, I cheated on my partner. And the problem lay was with, I was missing a home. I was missing an anchor.
Yeah.
And what was bizarre, what really shocked me was how something that wasn't to do with a relationship issue became a relationship issue, if that makes sense.
So I was exposed to it quite early on in my life. My mum's brother, my uncle, he unfortunately took his own life when I was about 7.
What was he like as a person? Was he happy, or did he appear low at times?
He was living in Germany at this point. He was a chef, he was vibrant. You know, chefs, they're naturally quite stressed people, and understandably, but he was, I guess, exposed. Yeah, he was depressed, and he just saved his medication, favourite bottle of whiskey, and he was found by his flatmate.
Have you ever suffered with your mental health?
I've never been diagnosed. This day and age, it's hard to live, it's hard to survive.
Yeah.
You know, paying bills and rent and finding time for yourself in such a busy time. Is hard and can be stressful and can affect you in ways that maybe you don't even realise. That's like mental health.
How do those moments make you feel? Those stressful moments?
Really down, don't you? At times, you feel tired. I think I get sometimes mental strain of it all is more tiring than sometimes just coming here and doing a physical workout. This is tiring, but that's tiring in a different way. And I have felt it a few times again with work and stuff like that. You know, you can come home some days, you've probably not done much manually, but physically, you're just exhausted. Your mind's exhausted. Your body becomes exhausted.
And what effect does that have on you? That definition of being a man.
I think it's a case of if you're in a situation where you are feeling a certain way, or you feel like you're not meeting those expectations, you can't really show it because everyone's got that expectation of you to be able to do X and Y and Z and be this strong, masculine, powerful person. You can't show any emotion if you're not feeling that.
And tell me about yourself.
So basically during COVID, I think, you know, when Boris kept saying 3 more weeks, 3 more weeks, 3 more weeks, I was living in a spare room at this point. I didn't have anyone that I could sort of talk to. You know, basically I was kind of getting very alone, and I really sort of came into my shell. I'd just broken up with a girl, and you know, and I think that was kind of impacted in the relationship as well. I'm very guilty of just shutting down.
How did you feel in that at that time? What were your feelings saying?
Horrible. I was more than willing to call it a day, to a point where I wrote a letter, and the only reason I didn't is because I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning and I just was like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Would you have done it if you didn't fall asleep?
I was in a mentality that I was about to,
Okay.
I was, it is. I'm not like too manly to admit it, or like, you know, or not man enough, or whatever that is. Going back to the first question, I guess.
Well, it's a very important conversation to have. We've heard some really interesting and heartbreaking stories in today's YouTube video. If you found it helpful or educational, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys very soon.